Ah, okay. Now I have come. I think now Swapnil is sending another. You are able. Why don't you come on online? Morning, that's good.
Good morning, Mr. Panigri. Good morning. My name is Venkatagiri. I'm from CII.
Yes, thank you. Working from home is a really tough task, but it is
Absolutely, sir.
but selling one art, people are digital savvy,
Absolutely, absolutely.
and
None of us
therefore during this time we are getting connected, or we are getting so many people and so many experts. So exchange of knowledge has become easier than any other time.
absolutely, absolutely.
Good morning, Mr. Binayak.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, sir.
I am Mr. Panirai, and he is
Yeah,
Mr.
good
Venkatgiri.
morning. Good morning, Mr. Panigrai.
Good morning, Mr.
Good
Vinay.
morning, all. Mr. Venkatgiri.
Yeah, how are you?
Kiran. Fine, thank you.
Mr. Hyderabad or somewhere else?
Mr. Panigrai's videos not that much visible, so it's an issue from my end or what?
Even in my case, Mr. Panigrai's video is a little dull, but now it's better.
Yeah, now it's okay.
It's much better, much better.
Yeah.
No, automatically this is getting unmuted, muted.
The quality of video is varying continuously in your
It
case.
is maybe because of the network connection.
Yeah, yes.
Network. Important now.
Audio is clear, sir.
Yes.
Mr. Krishna also has joined. Good morning, Chairman. How are you? Venkatagiri here.
Hi, Venkatagiri. How are you? I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning, Mr.
I'm
Krishna.
Panigrai.
Giri, we are ready, Giri. We can start.
Shall we? Chairman, Mr. Vinay Kapil, Mr. Panigrahi, should we go ahead?
Yes,
Yeah, I think 10 o'clock and people have already joined. Thank you all. Welcome you for this CPP conference. This is the 5th edition of the CPP conference. We are privileged to have Mr. Krishna, the chairman of CII Telangana, to lead us and they do the welcome address. And we also have Mr. Vinay Kapil and Mr. Jayanta Kumar Panigrahi. Without much further ado, may I request our chairman CII Telangana, Mr. Krishna Bodanapu, to kindly deliver the welcome remarks and lead the session, please. Mr. Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mr. Venkagiri, for the introduction and for setting this conference up. So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and a very warm welcome to the 5th edition of CII's conference on enhancing energy efficiency in captive power plants in 2020. Obviously, this is the first time that we're doing this in this virtual format rather than a physical format, but I firstly want to compliment all the CII team for still putting together a wonderful event with a wonderful set of national and international speakers and with some very relevant themes and topics. It is a wonderful opportunity to be a part of this knowledge-rich forum where we're going to talk about over the next day or so, we're going to talk about the latest technologies, sustainability challenges, and best practices. And personally, I'm looking forward to the CPP conference because I think it's a very opportune time to talk about some of the themes that we are going to talk about. Also, I think there's a lot of key takeaways that we're hoping that we will get on how best we can leverage this platform to become more sustainable, energy efficient, and environmentally friendly, which all of you will agree are the need for the hour as we navigate this current economic situation and the pandemic situation that we currently face. On that note, I welcome you all to the 5th edition of CPP Conference 2020 with the theme of enhancing energy efficiency in captive power plants. The CII Godrej Green Business Center is organizing the conference on a virtual platform for the first time. And in this two-day event, we shall have a number of lively, vibrant, and informative discussions on timely topics, such as energy efficiency in boiler and steam systems, industrial automation, power plant analytics, IoT solutions, technology applications, environmental management, and much more. And I'm sure this will be a very informative and knowledge-filled session for all of us. It is my distinct honor to first welcome Mr. Vinay Kapil, Executive Director, Dalmia Cement Bharat Limited. Mr. Kapil has 30 plus years of rich and diverse experience in the power plant sector and is currently responsible for overseeing all the captive power operations across the Dalmia Group. The wisdom and expertise he brings to the fore is amazing. And Mr. Kapil, we're privileged to have you, sir, here and look forward to your continued support and guidance to CII, the Green Business Initiative, and of course, these conferences. Welcome to the conference. It is also my pleasure to welcome Mr. Jayanta Panigrahi, the Senior Vice President, Hindalco Industries Limited. During his tenure, he was associated with various assignments, which include energy conservation, associated project improvements, environmental compliance and related project implementation, sustainability development, and renewable energy projects. He's a professional who is motivated and inspired by challenges and carries invaluable experience in the captive power plant segment. So, Mr. Panigrahi, welcome to the conference this morning. Thank you for being here, and we look forward to hearing your views in the next few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Krishna.
I would also like to take this opportunity to warmly welcome all the national and international speakers and all the delegates who have joined from different parts of the globe and who will also join us through the rest of this conference. Also, a special word of welcome and thanks to all our sponsors and supporters. It's interesting to note that India's captive power generation actually constitutes a quarter of the overall installed capacity, which obviously makes this a very meaningful and a very, very important sector in supporting the industrialization and industrial production of the country. Of course, there are a number of factors: high industrial tariffs, interrupted power and reliable supply of power, energy security, etc., have led many players to set up captive power units. However, one of the notable positives is the usage of renewable energy, which is as much as 2,000 megawatts over the last 5 years. This has also proven to be beneficial to industries for meeting their renewable purchase obligations. And on that note, I will say as a IT services company, we also purchase most of our power from a renewable source. And between our Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Mysore centers, we purchase almost 10 megawatts of renewable power, which in our case is all solar. So I think it's actually a very interesting opportunity for all of us who use captive power, that we can make this pivot and make this shift more towards renewable power. However, if you look at some of the more traditional captive power plants, like the coal-based ones, have been posed with several issues and challenges, including the shortage of coal, high heat rates, stricter emission norms, and so on and so forth. And also, the sector now is facing a fairly significant challenge because of the COVID pandemic. And like every other sector, the pandemic has taken a huge toll on the manufacturing sector, and thus disrupting the power demand, and has led to a large reduction in capacity utilization of power plants. It's of course a testing time, but also I believe, as with every challenge comes a number of opportunities. I think this challenge provides a great opportunity for us in all industries to relook at how we run our business and how we move towards sustainable, technology efficient, technology driven ways of conducting our businesses. And that is where I think there is a lot of excitement that we can bring in, a lot of innovation that we can bring in. Of course, there are a number of technologies that are becoming more and more relevant in power generation and of course, across the spectrum of generation, transmission, and distribution. But maybe here it's more about generation and distribution, because we're looking at a smaller area and captive power. But there's a number of technologies that are becoming quite relevant and quite useful to these industries. So in the technology space, we do a lot of work with a number of the power plant operators and also with the transmission and distribution companies. And it's actually quite interesting to see how, that the buzzword technologies, like be it an IoT or an analytics or AR, VR, drones, etc., there are some really interesting use cases that are being used in various applications. For example, I know of a large power distribution company, or sorry, a power generation company in the US that has some very tall chimneys and tall structures, and they are using drones and artificial intelligence algorithms efficiently to do maintenance, at least at the first level and the second level maintenance, before a human being has to go in and actually inspect any deviations that they find. So that I would say is just a small example of how a technology like drones is becoming very relevant. And I feel that we're at a tipping point with technology where it's no longer just the technology and the buzzword, but we're actually starting to see very relevant use cases that we can really bring into all aspects of power distribution, generation, and management. And of course, overlay that with the fact that renewable power is becoming more and more affordable, reachable, and real. It puts us at a very, very interesting time. So what I'm hoping is that while we do have some significant challenges across the board and in all industries, we will also use this opportunity to pivot into more sort of sustainable, technology-driven solutions for the future. I'm happy to say that this day event, like always, will offer new perspectives on the subject, and hopefully we will create some opportunities for networking and sharing ideas. Unfortunately, with virtual, that becomes a little bit difficult, but we've seen some good ways in which we could still stimulate conversations across the virtual events. So I will stop there, but I'll say that I just want to compliment again the CII GBC, the Godrej GBC, on putting together a wonderful event. And I'm sure the participants will gain a lot of knowledge and find it very intriguing. So thank you very much. And Venkat Girigaru, I'll hand it back to you to conduct the proceedings.
So thank you, Chairman. Privileged to have you. May I now request Mr. Vinay Kapil, Executive Director, Dalmia Cement, to kindly deliver his address, please. Mr. Vinay Kapil.
Shri Paniguriji, Venkat Guriji, Krishna ji, national and international speakers, distinguished guests, and participants. A very happy morning to all. So it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the 5th edition of CIS Conference on Enhancing Energy Efficiency in Power Plant 2020. I would like to open my address by putting forth a few statistics defining Indian power sector and CPPs. As we all know that Indian population is about 18% of the world, but we consume hardly 6% of the world's total energy. Although India has doubled its power generation in last decade from 180 gigawatt in 2010 to 370 gigawatt at present. But despite this remarkable progress, seeing our lower per capita power consumption of around 1200 units and with a 5 trillion economy in sight, electricity demand is expected to almost triple by 2035. So as Mr. Krishna shared, out of these 370 gigawatt installed power plant capacity, CPP capacity is about 25%, roughly about 90 gigawatt. And as we all know that CPP are inherently inefficient in design and operation than that of IPPs due to various reasons known to us like smaller sizes, varying load demands, availability of technologies, level of automations, kind of fuels we use. So from sustainability point of view, we need to make our CPPs green to the extent possible. That is, in CPP, we need to produce more power from lesser resources with minimum emissions. So I would like to take this opportunity to share my experience also, which has helped us a lot in improving CPP efficiency through technology upgradation and adoption of best practices. So firstly, I would like to talk about few environmental measures like for reduction of emission, besides of continuously monitoring and improving performance of our ESP. We may use new efficient technology in ESP, for example, high frequency trafo, transformer or high frequency power system. For for water conservation point of view, we may adopt practices like dumping system to take care of frequent load throws, which is quite normal feature in CPP operations. Then optimization of blowdown based on operating parameters rather than based on frequency. We may reuse the blowdowns, drain water, backwash water, then timely maintenance of whatever leaking walls are there, passing walls is there. That is also very critical. We require to keep on exploring the local available biomass or eco waste and even the other alternate fuels, including local waste or fuel reject. That will also help us to make our CPP cost effective. Most importantly, we must target to utilize waste heat to the extent possible. As we all know that approximately 30% of heat is exhausted to environment, specifically in cement production. So besides of installation of these WHRS in existing kiln, WHRS shall be an integral part of any new cement unit. Over last few years, the number of WHRS installation have increased significantly to about 500 megawatt in all, and about 200 megawatt is also being further added. But still, a lot of potential is there as far as cement WHRS is concerned. Then further, plant efficiency is also an important factor in making our CPP green. So we need to focus efficiency not only during design stage, but also during plants day-to-day operation. For example, as PLF of CPP varies very widely, so installation of VFDs in centrifugal pumps, fan, blowers, compressor always helps to optimize the auxiliary power consumption. And to gain further from VFD, we shall remove all the dampers in circuit or walls in circuit and operate. This thing is quite important. We should operate our equipment in closed loop only during normal plant operations. And we all know to focus operational efficiency on day-to-day basis, we need to ensure plant operation close to design parameter, whether it's pressure, temperature, or vacuum. And further, we need to monitor pressure drop, temperature drop, false air across the various section of the boilers. Then generally for a better combustion efficiency, we focus percentage oxygen. So there we can also include this CO monitoring. So that will also help us in getting the better combustion efficiency from boilers. Over and above these, which are generally being done in most of the CPP, we may further harness potential in few micros areas. For example, even after VFD installation, based on design and operating point efficiency of existing fans and pumps, energy efficient fans and pumps still can be explored for replacement. Like wherever we are having excess steam available, we can explore the steam driven equipment, specifically boiler feed pump. Then energy efficient equipment to be introduced, like IE3 motors or IE3 or IE4 motors. Then level one energy efficient transfer, we may explore energy efficient ACs, chillers, lightings, then unidirectional ST motors. These are the small things which will add to make our CPPs more and more efficient. Then one more focus point should be there. We should focus on capacity utilization of all equipment, whether it's boiler, TG, coal handling plant, or WTP. So that also helps us to make our CPP more greener. We may explore further. We may explore power wheeling to other units under open access that shall improve our PLF and thus plant efficiency related parameter. And then efficiency related parameters need to be displayed in operator screen to create awareness. And further, we may have benchmarking data comparison with operating data in DCS in order to generate certain deviation alerts and then automatic suggestion. Most importantly, as Mr. Krishna also shared, we need to explore use of machine learning and advanced data analytics to make our power plant more efficient and operator independent. So I'm looking forward to the session which is focused on digitalization of CPPs. And in order to further support CPPs in making them more greener, I would like to request CI team to further study and share specific benchmarking and best practices as being done extensively for cement plant. For example, based on type of furnaces, type of fuel we use, type of condenser units we use. So that should also help us to various CPP to optimize their efficiencies. That is all I wanted to share. Thanks for CII for giving me opportunity to share my perspective on making CPPs world class in green. I believe with interaction today and tomorrow on best practices and new technologies and ideas among various speakers and participants shall definitely help us in making our CPPs more greener. As in our Dalmia Bharat group, our mantra is clean and green is always profitable. So I wish conference all the success. Thank you and all the very best for making CPPs more green. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vinay Kapil, for your brilliant address. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you here. May I now request Mr. Jayanta Kumar Panigrahi from Inaugural to kindly address us, please. Mr. Panigrahi.
Very good morning. Mr. B. Krishna, Chairman Telangana and MD and CEO of CENT, Mr. Vinay Kapil, Executive Director, Dalmia Cement Bharat, and national and international speakers, technology providers, as well as other delegates, seminar which we are conducting in a virtual platform. It is a pleasure to speak in such a virtual platform. We have spoken so many times previously in the physical format, but right now, last 5-6 months, this is the technology which has changed life, and this is the people who have adapted in our pandemic situation. And coming to the subject, I welcome all of you to the 5th conference on the CPP Efficiency Enhancement Program for 2020. And here I will bring to state that to bring the efficiency and green power sustainability into forefront in our manufacturing, or it is in our power production. So plant, we have to look at the sustainability or efficiency part. It is also as a whole, it applies everywhere. With increased demand of the energy due to ever-growing industrialization and urbanization, this technology plays a critical role for unlocking the values for making our power efficient, greener, and even economically sustainable. If you will see, the power plant technology has never changed. Since inception, we are working on only Rankine cycle. Part, equipment part, there is a sea change. There is the technological development which has been tremendously innovated and applied to various smaller systems, subsystem and equipments for naming, say, starting from the design of the equipments and energy efficient technology, energy efficient equipments, also digitalization, and now it is fondly called Industry 4.0. And the recent concept is we are changing maintenance, PM-based maintenance to CVM-based, condition-based maintenance, so that our efficiency and is also upgraded. So, to the metal sector specific, where is aluminum, iron, KFT plays a huge role. In aluminum, the power cost is around 50 to 55% of the production cost. So energy consumption in aluminum, copper, it is around 27, and it is high energy intensive processes. It plays major role. So sometimes we in metal Hindalco, we think we are managing power company rather than the metal manufacturing company. Megawatt power problem like sustainability and the frequently laws changing, that is the most difficult than managing the smelter. Of smelter is that we have to run continuously with the full load for the entire lifetime of the smelter. That is, say 30 years, 40 years, still it is existing, or say 50 years, smelter too good. So last 60 years, continuously power is also supplied. That means we cannot afford to lose power blackout for 4 to 5 hours. If we lose 4 to 5 hours, we lose our business, not the equipments, because it will make all entire pot line frozen, and reviving and reoperating the smelter line just because of the shortage of 4 to 5 hours of power. That is we are operating. In aluminum, a small country, if the current is reduced by 1 or 2 kiloampere, the quality and productivity restoration takes a week's time to come into original value. So that is the metal sector. And this metal sector is contributing to the largest economy of the country and plays a major role to or any industry, processing industry, food processing industry, energy transmission, also transportation. Everywhere we need metal. The captive power quantity is around 30 gigawatt, which accounts for 40% of the total power available in India. So total captive power of India is about 75 to 80 gigawatt. And hence we feel this captive sector, captive power plants, be it aluminum, copper, has a lot of scope for improvement in efficiency as well as in the sustainability part of the energy management. Various possibilities to many consultants, international experts, talking to people at Canada, China, Australia. What development has occurred? We found this green sector transformation is not immediate. In coming 5 to 10 years, it may be feasible because it requires a lot of strategic program, frameworks for adopting more renewable energy, promoting energy storage, efficiency, also integration and flexibility of the operation of existing thermal plant renewable energy to the processes. the next point comes, if this renewable energy cannot be integrated, then what can to improve the energy efficiency, which cannot be done as a one solution, but it can be done in a step solutions, where improve all the systems based on our experience, expertise, and technology available around the market and developers. Hardly for any change like efficiency, and we are KPIs of to artificial intelligence or digitalization, so that in process is optimized and we get the process optimization. We save lot of water, save lot of auxiliary energy, thereby consuming lesser coal and producing more energy. The processes, and each and the individual processes, it may not be the larger processes, but now so many analytics has, we are also adopting analytics operation process, be it cooling tower, and the already Mr. Vinay has already expressed so many processes regarding to those details. But this, if you look at the minor things like KPI monitoring, condition-based maintenance, process digitalization, and other new technology or equipment, energy efficient equipments and energy efficient processes, so we can have a better efficiency. That is how we are facing and we are trying to do at Hindalco. However, while we are self-reliant in the energy production and looking at to be compliant regarding the environmental norms, which is projects for controlling NOx in primary method is also found successful. Similarly, for SOx, we are adopting semi-dry system, and for SPM control, already as mentioned, either electrically we are trying to upgrade or mechanically maintenance, trying to improve the maintenance of the internal fields so that emission is. And by the way, if you will analyze our data, we have either reached the benchmarking level or nearer to the benchmarking level, be it auxiliary power or DM plant consumption or power consumption in CHP or it cooling efficiency or anything, because every minor details we are monitoring and that we are trying to improve however it's possible with the technology, whatever available technology. Having said so, and we are meeting 100% to our manufacturing requirement. In aluminum, all the metal sector, everybody is meeting the manufacturing demand. However, still every captive power is having a surplus to generate exportable power from either from cogen process plants or CPPs. And similarly, if you'll see last used to be a waste, but suddenly last 3 or 5 years with a lot of the ash being utilized in cement, road industry, building and area development. So now many people are queuing up for them. So now ash has being converted from a waste to value-added product and thereby conserving the natural resources like sand and earth to a greater extent. So the captive power has come up in major way. That is the because this all this innovation has come. Any finance pressure is coming on captive power. It is not getting reimbursed by government or anybody. It is going to the product, and the product and this metal is either sold in the domestic market or in international market. And in international market, mostly the power are either renewable or hydel or gas based. So they are greener, they are more efficient. So with them, when we are competing, any single price change is getting translated to our commodity. The commodity will never be sold. Hence, all the captive sector across India, if you will see, all of them are innovative and trying to improve. to the larger extent so that their final product is in the market, in the competitive market. That is a major issue we are facing. Then with the development, innovation, still we are facing a lot of challenges in this captive power industry. Coming down to the challenges, one is availability of the coal, low availability of coal. We never get sufficient coal. Low utilization of our capacity, low access to the energy efficient, costly new technology purchase that will be translated to the product. Similarly, low techno-commercial feasibility like the SOX, NOx project, we are expanding. Now it is getting translated to our cost, metal cost. So these are low techno-commercial feasible, but we are still doing it. Similarly, transition to surplus power. As Mr. Vinay was also mentioning, or Mr. Kishore, multi-location power plants. We cannot transfer power from one location to other location. If that is also allowed to transmit, either sell power to grid or transmit your power from one location to other location, grid, in handling the challenges. So, into forefront. Similarly, if at one location we can produce with more efficient power, it will become greener, it will save the sustainability or it will save the environment. Simultaneously, it will contribute to the larger economy as a whole. Because it becomes uneven. I am one place I am purchasing power from grid, and other place I have surplus generation capacity. So thereby, if I am economical, so that's a country is also uneconomical. So all this environment, efficiency and sustainability, this has to go, and we have to live with this for next years to come. And topic we are today all this technical session or technical experts today or tomorrow will be concentrating on this point only: efficient energy with sustainable environment and with most economic benefits. And the gamut of technical sessions of fifth conference will be only related to the sustainable, economical, efficient power. And lot many people, decision makers and experts from various places and technology provider who are committed to technology. Similarly, and industry people who are day-to-day fighting these challenges like me, we are doing in our organization, mostly everybody is fighting like that. Those are available. All of them will share and exchange the knowledge so that people will become more at the end of this conference. In Hindalco, we more believe in collaboration and sharing. And we have made a team of our own people from different locations, and we have energy or external consultants or technology partners with us, so that any development in the technology we are also trying to implement in our organization. And I hope with these 2 days valuable information, delta change will be also improvement in efficiency, which will greater economical benefit in totality. And I thank CIE, Mr. K.S. Venkatagiri and Mehul, Mr. Swapnil, and Mr. Nikhil for all their supports and giving a privilege to me to talk on this forum, to exchange my idea and views. And also I delegates in the conference. These 2 days will be quite fruitful measure for achieving our aim to change efficiency in the captive power plants. With thanks.
Thank you, Panigiri of brilliant oration. Thank you very much, Mr. Krishna, Mr. Vinay Kapoor, Mr. Jayanta Panigiri, It's my pleasure and privilege to present the concluding remarks at this inaugural session of the 5th CPP conference. I think I must say this is an extraordinary session. Extraordinary session because of variety of reasons. One, of course, as many of you mentioned, 25% of the capacity of India is from captive power plant. And two of the most efficient captive power operators in the country are with us here. One, from the sectoral point of view, the cement sector itself is highly efficient, and more so the Dalmia Cement. We have the privilege of Mr. Vinay Kapil here, who represents the Dalmia Cement captive power plant. We are privileged to have you, sir. You are one of the lowest carbon manufacturers of cement in the world, and the captive power plant have contributed significantly to this initiative. And that's a major benefit. The second, of course, one of the most cost-effective manufacturers of metals in the world is Hindalco. We are privileged to have Mr. Jayanta Panigrahi. And thirdly, most important thing is, Mr. Panigrahi also mentioned somewhere in the beginning, the captive power plants have remained the same for so much time. We are still operating with the same Rankine cycle for so long. But then the biggest difference right now is coming in from introduction of IT, introduction of IoT, introduction of artificial intelligence, what we all put together call as Industry 4.0. We are privileged to have one of the best proponents of IT, IoT, and Industry 4.0, Mr. Krishna Bodanapu, to be here with us in this inaugural. I think it's an extraordinary session. Thank you all very much for being here with us today. And Mr. Vinay Kapil, you spoke brilliantly about how you can take more from less. You spoke of the highest level of 25% of CPP down to very small minor points like variable frequency drives and operation of the variable frequency drives without the damper. You covered the entire gamut of issues with regard to the captive power plants. You spoke about how captive power plants can be integrated with the main process plant. That's extremely important, sir. Earlier, we used to have captive power plant as a separate island and the cement plant as a separate operating entity. You spoke brilliantly about how these two could be integrated for the benefit of both the CPP as well as for the cement plant. Thank you very much for being here with us, Mr. Vinay Kapil. It's a privilege to have you, and thanks to Dalmia Cement for all their support to our initiatives, and particularly to you for being present here with this with the captive power plant program, sir. Thank you, Mr. Vinay Kapil. And Mr. Panigrahi, you spoke about how power plant is extremely important from the aluminium point of view. I completely agree with you. Aluminium is the ore plus 90% of the manufacturing cost comes from the power which goes into the production of aluminium. And Hindalco has done enormously well in terms of improving the aluminium production efficiency as well as in terms of operating captive power plants at the highest efficiency. You spoke about how condition-based maintenance and the digitalization of power plants can result in significant improvement of efficiency. I think Hindalco has been a major supporter of many of our initiatives in every one of the fields activities which you have taken up. Thank you for being present here with us. Thank you for sharing your valuable insight on many of the aspects of thermal power plants and captive power plants here with us today. Thank you for your kind presence and address here today. And lastly, our chairman, it's always customary for any program in Hyderabad taking place to be led by the chairman of CIA Telangana. And it's extremely appropriate because Mr. Krishna Bodanapu represents the future direction in which all the manufacturing industries can proceed for contributing to higher levels of efficiency improvement and contributing to the overall productivity. Thank you for Mr. Krishna for mentioning about IoT, artificial intelligence, and bringing a minor example of how drone can improve the overall condition-based monitoring of a small thing like a chimney, which is generally neglected in many of our plants till perhaps sometimes even a disaster occurs. Bringing in artificial intelligence and the digital technology can make a significant difference to the overall efficiency of the captive power plant and also improve the safety of operation of the captive power plant. Thank you very much for your kind presence here today. And CII, the Green Business Center, has been trying to work towards improving the efficiency of the industries, particularly from the environment and energy point of view. There are a few things which I would like to propose based on your comments and suggestions and address at this session. I would seek your valuable feedback and also opinion on how we can proceed. Number one, Mr. Vinay Kapil spoke about benchmarking of captive power plant. We have done in bits and pieces for individual sectors and groups of companies, individual companies. But benchmarking across the entire sector, we would be very glad to take it up, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your suggestion. We look forward to your Mr. Kapil support in terms of the data from the cement plants and Mr. Panigrahi's support in terms of data from the metallurgical sector. I think together we can make a big difference. Yeah, a benchmarking study in captive power plants, CIA would be very glad to take it up, and perhaps in the next, before the next CPP conference, we would be able to develop the manual and release it to all the captive power plant. Number one. The second one, sir, Mr. Krishna spoke about how IoT and artificial intelligence can make a big difference to the captive power plant. We would like to take up an initiative along with some demonstration projects in the Indian captive power plant sector. Maybe Dalmia and Hindalco are some of the proactive companies in the country in both the process operations as well as the captive power operation. We would like to engage with the three brilliant stalwarts here with you, Mr. Krishna, Mr. Vinay Kapil, and Panigrahi, in terms of how artificial intelligence, digitalization, data analytics can contribute to improvement in efficiency of captive power plant. We would like, that's my second suggestion to all three of you. We would like to come back with a detailed concept note on how we can take it forward. Look forward to your valuable support and inputs. Thirdly, sir, captive power plant can contribute significantly to the flexible operation of the entire grid. Some of you also brought it here, how if captive power plant can feed to the grid and improve the stability of the grid with more and more renewable energy coming in, and the renewable energy being what it is, not being firm power through 24 hours. Captive power plants can play a critical role in terms of bringing in more and more stability to the renewable energy generation in the country. We would like to seek your valuable views and see how we can, captive power plants can contribute along with artificial intelligence, can contribute to more stability for the renewable energy based power in the entire country. This could be another third activity which we would like to propose with all your support. And fourthly, incorporation of more and more renewable energy into captive power plants. You have already done well in terms of bringing in waste heat recovery from cement industry to the captive power plant, and also putting up solar plants within the captive power plant boundary, as well as utilization of biomass in captive power plant. Maybe we can look at how renewable energy incorporation can come into the captive power plant sector so that the overall heat rate can be significantly brought down. The technology and the sizes make it little difficult for captive power plants to be more efficient from heat rate point of view. This is another area which you would like to work on. Lastly, you spoke about ash, sir. Ash has become really a value-added product. Let's see how we can work together with the captive power plants in terms of better utilization of ash, and see how we can add value to the captive power plant from the point of view of better utilization of ash. I think I must thank all three of you, Mr. Vinay Kapil, Mr. Panigrahi, and Mr. Krishna Bodanapu, for your kind presence here today and adding immense value to the inaugural. These 5 ideas which you have picked up from you, I think can significantly improve the efficiency of the captive power plant. I would like to also thank the Indian Captive Power Producers Association, which has been a partner to us, the Cogen Association of India, which also has agreed to work with us and partner with us at this conference. Thanks to all the delegates who are listening to the program, all the speakers and other participants who are here with us today. Mr. Jain, you spoke about how there could be a delta improvement from this conference. It can make a significant improvement to the overall captive power plant sector in the country. Probably a small step for Neil Armstrong can make a big difference, a giant leap for mankind. Similarly, if this conference could make maybe a small percentage improvement in the efficiency of the captive power plant, I think we would have done our duty to the entire country. Thank you all for your kind presence here today, and we look forward to 2 excellent days of interaction and value addition to the entire captive power plant sector. With this, we come to the end of the inaugural session of the 5th CPP conference. Sir, thank you once again for your kind presence here today, and we will go to the next session at 11 o'clock. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Agri. Thank you.
Thank you, Venkatagiri.